Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So you can start allowing them.
Okay. It says you are now streaming live on YouTube.
Yes.
Meg, showtime.
Okay. To see the audience. All right. Good evening, everyone. You're welcome to another session of Parents First. It's good to have you all here. And today we're talking parental authority. And we have with us as our guest speaker, Dr. Madu. So Dr. Madu is a professor of hematology in the College of Medicine, University of Nigeria. He has been a part of the National Association for Family Development, also known as NAFAD, the Enugu chapter. Dr. Madu has been a trainer of young parents for the past 15 years. He's a board member of Ugboazu Foundation, an NGO which runs the Roseville and Hill Range primary schools. Dr. Madu is a marriage counselor and is happily married with 6 children. So he's going to take us through parental authority, after which, we'll allow him run the whole session and then we can ask questions in the middle. But afterwards, we'll still take questions and answer.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me. Thank you, Margaret.
Yes, we can hear you.
Beautiful. Let me begin to share my screen as I welcome you to this edition of Parents First. Let me start by saying thank you very much for taking out time to join this session. At least it shows that you are interested in trying to make sure that you bring up our children in the best way possible.
Yes.
It's not easy to make out time on a Saturday night and also to spare your data and your precious Saturday evening. So, Prof, without boring you.
No, Dr. Madu, just a second.
Just a minute. You need to swap screen.
Okay.
Go to display settings.
Okay.
So, why is it that I don't? You can do this.
You did.
All right, so I need to go back, I guess.
No, you could have changed it there, but anyway, now you're out. Just on sharing screen, there's the one that shows full screen. Okay. All right, good.
Just give me a minute.
Yes.
I will keep
slideshow.
discussing. So let me again thank you for making out time to join this session, and
Okay, he's on slideshow now. We are good.
yeah, okay. So
But Prof, are you good?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get it in my presenter's view. Just a minute.
Okay. So try again. Click on the screen again. Good.
All right. Okay. So I'm fine. So the aim of this presentation is to explore the delicate balance between parental authority and fostering a strong bond with your children, and ultimately helping them to become confident and responsible individuals. The hope and aspiration of every parent is that we want to see our children grow up to be better than we are in every way possible. And every parent means it in a very nice way. And we all want our children, and we say to them, outdo me. Yes. And when we, in the future, we want to look at you and see those cultures and those characters and traits that we share as members of our family. So that is why many people have said that the true success of a man or the true success of parents is seeing their children grow up to become what exactly they plan them to be. Parenthood, as far as I'm concerned, as many people have said, is a beautiful yet complex journey. It's one of the most difficult tasks on earth, no matter what anybody thinks, because it requires your whole time, your whole being, your concentration, and you just have to get it right. Before we go on to start talking about authority, which in some cases people regard as see just the negative side of it, I want us to first discuss the issue of bonding, because bonding and authority are very, very closely related. Authority is a consequence of bonding done earlier in childhood. One crucial aspect is understanding the role of parental authority and its interplay with powerful bonding. You can't demand or you can't exercise any serious authority if you have no bond with your child. That bond is what is you develop very early in the childhood or very early stages of the growing up stage of the child. So this presentation will also delve into those concepts, offering insights to guide you on the journey of how this bonding is formed and how exactly it begins to work later in life. Okay, so let us also look at, first and foremost, the roles of the parents. First, the father. Okay, so the father embodies law and structure within the family. The father is the person that engages with the outside world. The father deals with outsiders, the mechanic. The father deals with the landlord. The father deals with the teachers, the authorities. Okay, the father is the head of the household. If a child misbehaves, we say, where is his father? Okay, so the father is like the bridge between the individual children in the family and the outside world. And children learn about the outside world from their father. Okay, so it is the father that says, no, you can't do this because it's not acceptable. Okay, so the father represents laws and culture over time. Okay, as well as government. So the father states boundaries within boundaries of relationship between the individuals in the house, basically the children, and the outside world. Okay, always trying to balance happiness and guidance. Okay? Guiding them together with a lot of love and respect, as Prof. Francis highlighted. This role of the father involves guiding their children, ensuring their safety and well-being, while nurturing their happiness and independence. So it's an intricate thing, okay? While the father, on the other hand, the father, once the child is born, the father is like he represents strength, physicality, protection. Okay, so the protects you feel the strength of the father. He throws the child up, he carries them in his arms. Okay, and they feel the strength. It's just like the father is saying, "Feel me, feel my strength." Okay, and I'm here always to protect you. Okay. On the other hand, the mother embodies love, warmth. The mother is like the person that children see as embodiment of the home. Okay, she offers milk, warmth. She smells fresh. Her body is soft. So the mother is more of an embodiment of love and care. Okay, and trying to teach the child often to develop their emotional well-being. Okay, she nurtures and provides the secure base from which the child explores the world. Okay, so she nurtures the child in empathy and healthy relationship. Okay, so both ends of both parents balance themselves. Okay, the father is physicality, protection, okay, and law and order, while the mother is warmth, okay, love and care, as well as food. Okay, so both are important in the psyche of the growing child. Okay, then as the child grows up, being nurtured by both parents, the child develops a secure bond, which is the cornerstone of growth. Okay, this bonding is what you build with your child and serves as the foundation for emotional and social development. Bonding over time, discussing issues. Okay, first and foremost, see you as a child, a toddler grows up, sees you as the protector, provide food as the father. The mother also provides love and warmth, making sure they are well taken care of, okay, looking after them when they are sick. All these episodes and periods in their life growing up develops, that is when the bonding develops, okay? And a secure bond shapes how your child sees themselves and the world, okay? A bonding with your father, the bonding with your mother gives the child a concept of who he or she really is, okay? Also, there's also a non-verbal emotional connection, okay? When you see a child, you already feel this child is not looking happy, or my boy or my daughter is not looking happy, okay? So you say, what is the problem? Even without being told, somebody may be sick, you say, you're looking ill, what's the problem? These are non-verbal connections based on body language. We also teach the children how to communicate and bond with others, okay? Also, this has a positive impact on their development and leads to confidence and balanced adulthood, okay? In situations where both parents are there and are active, most of the time, the children are balanced, okay? There was a study done by James Stenson, okay? He's one of my favorite persons when it comes to parenting, okay? He said he wanted to find out of the children in high school, whose children are the people that do not mess up when they come to school, in terms of whose children are the people that do not bow to peer pressure, okay? Whose children are the people that do not take drugs, do not get tattoos, depending on how you look at tattoos, okay? Whose children are the people that don't start engaging in sex at a very early age and things like that. And he found out that these are people that have very close relationship with their parents, especially their fathers, okay? I want this to sink in because it is very, very important. Even if we check amongst ourselves and our friends growing up in university and secondary school, the people that we know that behaved well in secondary school and in university, if you have the opportunity of engaging them, you will find out that they have a very close relationship with their parents, especially their fathers, okay? This is very, very important this is what is going to form the basis of the authority that is going to play out later in life when they grow up, okay? Actually, the concept of authority should actually be a guiding light, not seen as being authoritarian or, okay, lording it over everybody, no. Authority comes from the Latin word augere, which means to grow or to develop, Okay? It provides, being done by the parents as well as the authorities, sometimes can be by the states in some issues, okay? Provides rules and guidelines, okay? So it creates a framework for safe exploration. So people know actually what they should do and how they should do what they should do, okay? It's not about dominating. So authority fosters trust and understanding. It's not about dominating anybody, okay? It's about following based on respect, not based on fear. So authority should be based on respect, not based on fear. And this trust, okay, that fosters or the background of authority is something that is developed over time. Okay, it's not about imposing your will, which will only create sentiments and distancing from the children. So we also have to realize that authority also comes with responsibility. What do I mean? If my teenage daughter wants to drive, she has to realize that first and foremost, you have to be 18, okay? Because when I give you the car keys, then it means you can also go to jail if you knock down somebody and you're driving before 18 years, yeah? So it is part of my authority to say, no, you can't drive until you're 18. If I give you the car keys before you're 18, I'm causing you harm, because if you hit someone, then you're not authorized to drive. Yes. So authority comes with responsibility. If you can also drive a car, then you can also go to the mechanic. Then you can also fuel a car. Okay? So you can't just be a driver enjoying the driving, if that is what you call enjoyment, but you don't want to go with the responsibility that comes with it. Okay? If they give you authority of walking down or going to the bank or going to the market alone, then you have the responsibility of looking after the money in your purse. Okay? Or looking after the check or daddy's check or mommy's check in your pocket. Okay? So authority implies responsibility. It also implies trust. Okay? I can give you authority to handle your siblings in terms of helping them with their lessons. Yeah? But I also give you the responsibility of making sure that you don't overdo it and you don't start beating your siblings up. Okay? It also involves collaboration and not control. Okay? In every instance, trying as much as possible to let them see or let your child see that this is what needs to be done and we all need to work together as a team. It's always good in a family to let your children know that, like when you're talking to them, you say, we don't steal. That's the power of we. Okay? Not you don't steal. No, not you don't insult your elders. We say, we in this family, we don't insult our elders. We in this family, we don't steal. It's better so that the child knows culture and is not a directive. We, your mother and all your siblings, we don't carry out exam. We are not into examination malpractice. In this house, we don't do this. Okay? We don't lie. Okay? It is we. That's the power of we. Okay? That's something that we can all pick up. Okay? Not saying you don't do this or you don't do that. Okay? So we'll talk about the various parenting styles. Okay? And understanding the different parenting styles. Okay? First and foremost, it's important to realize that parenting is raising a child. As raising a child is a very beautiful and a very complex journey. One crucial aspect is understanding these different parenting styles. Probably we have all been using one of these styles or the other, okay? But maybe we didn't know it was actually a different style, okay? Many of us, again, have a combination of these styles. So this presentation is going to handle the different parenting styles that we have available. I'll try as much as possible to give some examples of those parenting styles and what they actually imply as we move ahead. Okay, so the first parenting style, okay, which may not be the which may or may not be the one you're practicing, is called the authoritative approach. Okay, the authoritative approach, there's love and respect and there's reasoning. Okay, it is a beautiful blend of that combines warmth, respect, and open communication. What do I mean? At what age do you let your daughter decide which dresses to buy? And should she actually decide which dresses to buy? Remember, we are training young adults. Don't ever believe you're training children. Always have it at the back of your mind that you're training young adults. Whatever you cannot accept in an adult now, don't accept it in your children. Because it's better you change it now than trying to change it as they grow older. Okay? The authoritative approach strikes a balance between love and guidance. Okay? Here, the parents set the rules. Okay? Clear expectations, but they explain the reason. You have to, the video game has to go off or the television has to go off from after school time till 6 p.m. That's the why. Okay? And you explain why. Because you need to read and the television is a distraction. Some of them will argue, we can use the television. Some of them are educative, some of the programs are educative, and we actually learn and blah, 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 blah. But we set the rules, but we give clear reasons why things should be the way they should be, okay? You clear your plate after feeding, or after eating, not you. We clear our plate, which means, you know, the difficult thing about parenting is that whatever you're telling the children, be sure that you and madam or you and your oga are ready to obey the rules too. So you see, say we clear our plate after eating, then also be ready to clear your plate. We don't drop our shoes in the dining or in the parlor, then you should also be ready to clear, taking your shoes to your room and put them away where they should be. Okay? So here there are clear boundaries. Children love order. State what should come after each one. Okay? And what someone would do, and the person deserves get some punishment. You shouldn't punish people at your whims and caprices. Everybody should be clear of what, if they do, they get into trouble with daddy and mommy. Okay? So here there need to be clear boundaries. Okay? Then we should, of course, there should be order. There should be time to eat and there should be a time to sleep. There should be a wake-up time when everybody wakes up, and there should be different things that are done during different times. Okay? It shouldn't just be the day you are feeling strong enough, or the day you're happy with yourself, you go to church or you go to mass on Sunday. The day you're not happy, there's no mass, and the children don't know what your plans are. Okay? Beautiful. That's why I said in parenting, we also train ourselves. So there should be clear boundaries. And we also, in this case, we also encourage independence in this authoritative approach. How? You engage the child and you want to give reasons and you give room for negotiation or room for discussion. Okay? You cannot say you have to cut your hair skin cut, and that is that. Or say you cannot wear jean trousers. That is that. Mommy doesn't like jean trousers and nobody wears jean trousers in this house. Okay? You have to leave the rooms open for discussion, okay? And let them also provide their views in terms of decency, in terms of what they think, okay? And what is also trending. And you also engage them in that and give them reasons why some things have to be the way they have to be. And you also be ready to give in when they offer superior arguments. That way, they learn to engage with their peers when the time arrives. Because definitely they are going to engage with their peers, and they should know the reason why they are doing the things they are doing. Not just because my father won't be happy or because my mother won't be happy. Okay? So this also helps the children to engage, to understand and manage their emotions. And it helps them to become independent thinkers. That is very, very critical in the life of mostly the adolescents. They need to be independent thinkers, and they need to be confident that I've argued this with my mom, I've argued this with my dad, and this is what works for us. Children raised in this environment tend to be confident, responsible, and emotionally intelligent. Have you ever seen a 12-year-old boy that talks like an old man? Go and find out. That boy spends time with the parents, or basically with the father. That is what gives children confidence. As young men, they're able to explain things, and they're able to, their perception of themselves is very, very superb, and nobody pushes them around. The next approach is the authoritarian approach. Okay? The authoritarian approach means there's no room for discussion. Okay? Whatever I say is the rule. Okay? This ensures that there are strict rules. While children may appear well behaved, they may lack critical thinking skills. Okay? And the ability to manage emotions effectively is also lacking. Okay? Because they are used to taking orders, okay, or taking directives. They are not free thinkers. okay? And they actually believe that that is how life should be, okay? They are used to taking directives. So when they don't get directives, they don't move, okay? In this situation, there's limited discussion because there's no room for discussion, okay? It discourages questioning or expressing opinions, okay? And the behavior of the child is very superficial. All it takes for the child or the adolescent to do is to leave your house, and the adolescent turns into another thing immediately, because whatever you've been talking about is you've just been giving orders without background reasons, okay? This approach can also breed resentment and hinder open communication. The child is quiet because no matter what I say, no matter what I do, daddy and mommy, they've already decided what they want to do, so it doesn't even matter, okay? I'll just keep quiet, okay? The day I have my opportunity, I have my liberty, I'll run things the way I want. So the next approach is also the permissive approach, okay? In this scenario, the children are given excessive freedom. I'm sure most of us growing up know some households that were quite a bit permissive, okay? There are minimal boundaries, okay? So you can eat in your room, you can play video game all day, you have your laptop, you can watch cartoon, your friends can come, they can stay in your room all through the day, okay? There's limited guidance, okay? So the parents avoid confrontation, okay? So the children, you don't want to, as someone said sometime ago, there was a woman that came to the clinic once with her son. So the boy was throwing tantrums, and the woman asked the house help, don't you know he is hot-tempered? The woman was making excuses for her son, who was about 9-10 years old, who was scattering things around. He said, you should know he's hot-tempered. I mean, you can imagine that child is headed for trouble, okay? There are challenges with discipline, okay? The child struggles with self-control because the child is used to getting things done in his own way or her own way, okay? So these are people that they have problems in the future, okay? They can't engage in this struggle, and even when they come to the workplace, they become problems because nobody can tolerate them. They always want to do things when they want to do things, okay, and how they want to do things, and they believe that it is what is supposed to be, okay? While this may seem loving, it can lead to confusion and lack of self-control, okay? The child has difficulty adapting to situations with defined expectations, okay? Very, very difficult times ahead for the child. One story, somebody talked about one of the lecturers in a university in the US came into the departmental office and said, you wouldn't believe what I just saw. And they asked him he said a young first-year student, a young boy, walked into the university first year, was his first time. So he wanted to find out, he was looking for a lecture hall in maybe, let's say room 203. That was where the lecture hall was supposed to be. So the boy entered and saw the series that he was on, that everything was in 051, 021, 022, and things like that. And the young man stepped outside the building, pulled out his cell phone, called his mother, and asked the mother to call the departmental secretary to find out where room 203 was located in that building. And that was what happened. So you can imagine, and the boy now had the information and went back to find his lecture hall. You can see that young man is headed for trouble because, I mean, when you can't think out, I mean, the worst you can do is to put your head in an office and ask them, after greeting them, just ask them, please, where is room 203 or room wherever you're looking for, okay? Or you can just ask any other student, okay? Or you can find your way around it, okay? So you can also see that young man is going to be in trouble in future, okay? And this can be an issue even after he's married and he's grown up, he still can't find his way around things. He just doesn't want to be solving problems. So each time he refers the problems to his parents. There's also the one that we can see rearing its head in our society of today, the absent parent, okay, or the religion of duty, okay? Being absent does not mean being physically absent, okay? You can be in a location, but at home, you're back home with your laptop in your room or in your study, you lock yourself up, and put the sign, do not disturb. And you, from the time you got into that house to the time you leave the next morning, you only come out to catch some fresh air in terms of watch the news, watch CNN, and move back into your room. This is being bodily present, but in that family or in that home, that parent is not available and might as well have traveled. Okay? These are parents that, due to work pressure, okay, or due to absence, especially in today's world with the Japa syndrome and the parents living apart in terms of work, okay, there are unmet needs, okay, and the children experience emotional neglect and lack of direction. There was a program we had with some university students some time ago. One of the young men there, after a presentation, he said he wanted to make a confession, but that I think his mother died while he was in secondary school, and he just had his father. But his father was always absent. He was rich, he paid for everything throughout his secondary school and his university, but he rarely saw him. So he said after he graduated, he did not speak to his father for more than 5 years because he felt his father neglected him when he needed him most, during his years of adolescence and the years that he needed guidance and support. So here, the authority occurs when the parents neglect their responsibility. Sometimes they prioritize their own needs over their children's needs, okay? Sometimes it can be our career, sometimes it can be our social life. This can lead to emotional neglect and difficulty following rules, okay? Of course, in the future, there are going to be future challenges, okay? Then the next so in all this, we need to find some balance, okay? In all this, we need to find some balance. And just 1 minute. So in all this, we need to find some balance. In some situations, we may be a bit permissive, maybe when there's a gathering in Christmas, okay? A bit permissive and a bit authoritarian, okay? But always finding a good blend and a good balance. But there are some key things that we must always have entrenched. First and foremost, there must be clear boundaries, okay? You don't talk to your mother or to your father like that, okay? You don't beat your siblings, okay? We don't steal, we don't lie, okay? These are things that define character. And we must make sure that these are things that our children have to imbibe growing up. For on those ones, we don't allow any negotiation, okay? Insulting elders, okay? Not behaving well, and also clear boundaries in terms of mind your business. You know, children grow up in the house and they see their mother, you know, in the house. The mother is everything that happens in the house is her business, okay? So the mother comments about everything, okay? And the children quickly learn that. So they think everything that happens in their house is their business. So sometimes it's very important that we tell them to mind your own business, okay? Especially adolescents, okay? Sometimes you just have to tell them, look, this discussion is between your sister, your mother, and I. Walk away. It's not your business, okay? And they also have to learn how to respect other people's privacy, okay? Once there was a story of a young boy, you know, what they say about 13-year-olds, between 13 and 15, that's when you have the adolescents coming up and a lot of children become very, 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 very troublesome, okay? There was a young 13-year-old, he went to his friend's house, so he came back and he was telling his mom and his dad too, look, this guy's house, their clothes on the floor, their dirty wares in the kitchen and things like that. And the mother had to call him to order, let him know, look, mind your own business. If people let you into their own house, they let you into their privacy, and you're betraying their trust, okay? When the people let you into their home, you keep quiet. You don't go out and start broadcasting everything you saw in their house. Mind your own business. So we need to teach them, mind your own business, okay? We also have to teach them to love and trust, okay? we should use discipline with love. Always explain the reason why you have to undergo this punishment. Okay, some people also use this method. When a child misbehaves, you ask the child to choose the punishment that he or she wants to get. And in most instances, they choose something tougher than what you wanted to ask them to do. And in that case, you have to, in some cases, you have to backtrack a bit and look like a great guy, okay? So they choose something worse than what you had in mind, and you say, wow, well, this wasn't what I had in mind, but since you've already said it, I'll backscale a bit and you can still do the punishment, okay? Always be open to communication, okay? Always let the children know that, look, I am committed to always making sure I look after you people. But if at any time you feel that I am being overbearing, speak up. I will listen to you once what you're saying is based on facts and is correct, okay? Based on facts, meaning I don't like, you don't say I don't like something. Nobody likes being corrected, okay? So you don't tell me I don't like this, I don't know. If you stick to facts, we will trash it out, okay? And if I see you having a superior argument, I'll concede, okay? Always assign age-appropriate responsibility. Your daughter should be able to go to market at a certain age. They should be able to also make choices of their own in terms of picking the clothes they want to buy, or they want you to buy, or their own hairstyles, okay? Don't micromanage the children. You know what is micromanage? You tell them the dress they will wear, the stockings they will wear, the type of hairstyle they will know, okay? Or leave some space for the child to take on some authority and also some responsibility, okay? Always leave space for initiative, okay? Always leave space for things that they can do using their own initiative, okay? Don't say you must, follow them bumper to bumper. No, allow them time to also do things on their own, okay? It's always good to let your children know that the difference between a child and a grown-up is knowing what to do and doing what you're supposed to do without being told. We can't be telling you to go and take your bath, go and brush your teeth, then you're not grown up. Children don't like that, okay? So they love to hear it. So you tell them, look, if you say you're grown up, then you should know when to go and read your books. I should know when to watch television. You should know when to take your bath and when you should brush your teeth. Once they hear that, they say, okay, wow, Daddy, I'll show you I'm a big boy, okay? So I don't need you to tell me that I need to go and wash plates, okay? I don't need you to tell me that I need to go and brush my teeth. My daughter once told me, I asked her, how come every morning I remind you to dress your bed? She said, that is because you remind me. Maybe I need you to keep quiet and see whether I'm going to dress my bed. I was like, wow, that's another blow. So for some time, I also leave her to see whether she's going to dress her bed or whether she still needs me to remind her to dress her bed. So they have to know that freedom comes with responsibility, okay? That way, you're able to grow in to become mature adults. Very, very importantly, we lead by example. We lead by example. The children are watching you. When you say we don't do this, we do this, we don't do this, also be sure of what you are doing, okay? You can't be pressing your phone 24 hours and you're asking them to study, okay? When you say we sleep by 9, by 12:30, you're still watching Champions League or Z World. No, okay? So when you set the rules, be sure you're going to also stick by the rules. So in summary, we have to be nurturing faith and freedom, okay? Faith and freedom, okay? Parenting is a beautiful yet challenging journey, okay? But as Christians, we navigate this pathway with faith as our compass, okay? So we have faith that the children are going to turn out well, no matter, all we just need to do is to play our part. This presentation has been exploring the essence of Christian parenting, okay? Highlighting the importance of trust, guidance, and prayer. Remember, no matter what you do, it's very, very important to pray for your children, okay? It's very, very important to pray for your children. You don't know where they came from. It is God that gave them to you. They are not your own. They are individual human beings on their own. The only thing we're doing is to guide them aright. So children are not our property per se, okay? So always trust in freedom, empowering their growth, okay? Also accepting risk. Trusting your child's freedom fosters personal development. Once in a while, tell him, go to the bank or go to the stay with the mechanic, okay? Or go and give your grandmother this, give money for transportation, okay? And allow, sometimes you have to, for a bird to fly, just as the picture you see, the bird has to leave the nest, okay? A ship is safe in the harbor, but ships are not built for the harbor. You must allow these children to step out, okay? They have to step out once in a while to engage the world, using what we have taught them, okay? Active guidance, correcting wrong choices with love and understanding. Always engage them, always keep talking. Even when you think they are not listening, most of the time, it's getting ingrained in their brain, okay? Avoid blind support, okay? Avoid blind support. When the child does wrong, call the child to order. Anything, remember, anything you cannot tolerate in an adult around you now, make sure you don't tolerate it in your children. Eating in the room, not dressing, buttoning their clothes well, not shaving themselves appropriately. Please, it is your business as a parent, okay? To talk and make them realize that as grown-ups, you should be able to take care of yourself. Offer guidance without taking away their independence, or okay, or their personality. Remember, true growth comes from overcoming challenges. It's only in the overcoming challenges that people actually grow. Okay? The power of prayer, of course, it cannot be overemphasized. You need to keep praying for them, keep praying for them. Okay? Parenting is a vocation. Just like priesthood, we just have to recognize the sacredness of raising children. It's not an easy job, but God that has given you that responsibility will also provide us with the graces to make sure that we bring it to a meaningful conclusion. I always tell people in the marriage course, you see, for you to become a priest, you spend many years in the seminary. For you to become a reverend sister, you spend many years in their novitiate. For you to become a doctor or a lawyer or anything, you spend years in the university after secondary school. For you to become a parent, there's no training. The only training you receive or is meant to have received is what you got from your parents' house. Okay? Parenting can be overwhelming, yes. But remember, you are not alone. Okay? God gave you the responsibility, and God will make sure that He puts things in place to offer you support. Okay? And also, God's abundant graces draw strength through prayers. Always take your children to prayer. Because as I mentioned, you don't know where they came from. So wherever they are going to get to, make sure you guide them with your prayers and have them in your thoughts. Pope Benedict XVI, in one of his quotations, he said, the worst thing that you can do to a child is neglecting the wrongs or their errors. Okay? And another part of it is also allowing a child to walk away with something that is evil that he or she has done, and he or she is aware that what the child has done is evil, okay, or is wrong. Okay? Make sure that we correct them with love. Okay? We learn from the wisdom of the church leaders. Remember, parenting is a spiritual journey. Seek God's guidance. Raise your children with Christian values. Sometimes the children are going to behave so badly that you're going to be asking yourself, what have I done wrong? Okay? In those instances, don't give up hope. Okay? You need to take them to your prayer, seek God's guidance, raise your children with Christian values, and trust in His plan for their lives. Remember, the authority you're going to gain tomorrow is from the bonding that you have built over time. Okay? You can't ask your son that is 18 years old or is 21 years old in the university not to go for a party. Okay? When over time, you haven't even had the time to sit with him throughout his primary school and secondary school to discuss about party. Okay? It's completely out of place. So the bonding that you create today will help you foster the authority that you have to put in place tomorrow. Okay? Remember, with God's grace and human effort, children mature. Okay? Ultimately, as I mentioned, all children belong to God. And parenting is a great journey. It's enjoyable. All you need to do is to relax, grow with the children, because yes, we grow with them. The children also, as you're training them, they're also training you. Yeah, they are all different individuals and different with their different nuances and their different problems, and also their different advices and the way they approach their parents and the joy they bring to the family. Okay? Embrace the joys and challenges of this sacred journey. Parenting is a lifelong commitment. Okay? By partnering with God, guiding your children with love and wisdom, you can nurture their faith and prepare them for a fulfilling life. Thank you.
Wow, Dr. Madu. Awesome. Thank you very much. I'm sure every one of us, we have learned a lot. There's so much that you have shared with us. And yes, wow. Everybody, people are commenting. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And so much to share, so much you've shared with us. And I think what I like the most is that you gave us a lot of hope. Because initially I was like, this is a hard task. But we ended with, more or less like what just resonated with me is enjoy it. It's a journey. You grow with your children. Parenting is a spiritual journey. I like that a lot. So Dr. Madu, thank you very much. So without much ado, I think we will just spring into question and answer session. So let me go to the chat and yes, I hope you can read you can see the chats. People are responding to your presentation. Thank you so much for this awesome and enlightening presentation. Serious hope, a lot of illumination, enlightening. So that distinction also between authoritative approach of parenting and authoritarian approach, that was also fantastic, and the permissive approach. And I think at the end of the day, each one of us has to choose the one that works best for us and the one that will give us the results that we want. I also like that part where you said that whatever you will not tolerate from the adult, don't tolerate it from the child. So already start nurturing. See the adult in that child. That was awesome. Yes. All right. So let's take questions. So if you want, you can put your question on the chat or your comments. Maybe you want to share something with us. You could also raise your hand. I will call you so that you can be given permission to unmute your mic and say what you want to say. So I think it's time for us to share. There are quite a number of us that have experiences. So maybe there are some things you've already tried that are working and you want to share with others. Yes. Thank you very much. Okay. So let's see. Do I have any hand up?
Yes, there is.
Okay, yes. Chizoba, Chizoba Ijoma, please. You can go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much, Professor Madu, for the presentation. Please, my question is, I've heard many people, older parents say, my children are not my friends. They can never be my friends until they get to a certain age. And I am also familiar with the admonition of St. Josemaria Escrivá that says we should raise our children in the atmosphere of friendliness. So when I hear this from older parents and I have this admonition in my head, I'm not able to balance the two extreme positions on parenting. Please, what do you have to say about it?
Okay. Do I speak at once or do I wait after?
I think, well, whichever you prefer, maybe you just respond as the questions are coming.
Let me just make a comment. Your children are your friends, whether you like it or not. There are some that, of course, within the children, some parents have favorites. But another thing I must say is make sure your children don't know who is your favorite. Okay? As a human being, even in the office, there are people that you're closer to, you like them better than the other. But with your children, make sure that your daughter or that your son, that is the apple of your eye, that the other siblings do not know. Sometimes they may have an idea of maybe mommy loves this guy more than ever. But make sure that you treat everybody equally. As a matter of fact, sometimes turn he or she down. Just teach the person a lesson that you think you're the favorite, but you're not. Okay? Then your kids are your friend. What do I mean? Make sure that again you balance the aspect of friendship and authoritarianism or authoritativeness. What do I mean? They are your friends, but as someone noted in the comment section, make sure there are boundaries. Okay? They are your friends because you can go to their room, lie down on their bed, and you gist. But when you get up, everybody gets up by 6 a.m., eats your food, and dress your bed. Okay? So I'm your friend, but when it comes to this, my brother, my sister, you have to behave yourself. Okay? So that's what I think.
All right. Thank you very much.
There are other parents there here that can also offer their own.
Okay. So I saw initially, but I don't know if her hand is down now. Ejiro. Ejiro, are you there? She had put
There
up
is
her
Ifeyiwa.
hand. Okay. All right. Ifeyiwa, please go ahead. Thanks, Charles. Ifeyiwa. After Ifeyiwa, then Ogechi. Ifeyiwa, are you there?
Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can hear you
Yes.
now.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, our wonderful our wonderful facilitator. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. In fact, we learn every day. I've been able to learn a good number of things, which I never know, in my act of parenting. And if we look at what is happening today, we will also know that a good number of us parents have lost it. Maybe basically because we try to parent based on how we see it in our parents. And in your presentation, I overheard you say that you did a program in a university. You gave some instances of things that happened and how it should be dealt with. I want to know if more about this program you have with the tertiary institution, so that maybe we can buy into it. Because if you look at what is happening in the university today, or the kind of children that are raised and the behavior that they exhibit, you will know that a good number of us parents lost the track when we were doing it. And I believe that corrections can still be made now through such programs you run in the tertiary institution. So I would like to know more about that and see how we can engage you, help correct some of these mistakes that we parents made in the act of parenting. Thank you.
Okay. I think Ejiro is saying she can't unmute herself, but let me just say, well, the conference was I think it was the UNIV conference. We have it, I think, once a year or once every 2 years. So I think another one will come up next year or later this year. We usually have it with the university students alone, and a few people to come to talk to them. Don't ever at any point believe that you have lost your child. No matter how old, even if the child is in the university, you can always begin to make amends. Well, we may not get 100%, but at least we can begin to track back. I'll give you another story. A friend of mine, once I was driving back from Benin, so the friend asked me to branch. I think they suddenly dismissed told the students of the particular school where his daughter was. They actually suddenly asked them to go home. Okay, so he called me and asked me whether I could go help him pick his daughter. To cut the long story short, I got to the girls' hostel. I was in the waiting room. There was another man there, young man, much younger than I am, well touched up with about 3 phones, looking very well fed and well dressed. So while we were waiting, the student I came to pick came out. They are our close family friends. So the young girl ran and hugged me. The other girl another girl walked out, being the other man's daughter. And the man now opened his arms, maybe trying to do what we just did. But the daughter was so cold, you know. And I watched that man's face, and I realized that there was going to be a very big problem. You know, training children is not about providing school fees only. I always tell people, money is the least of your problems when you're training children. Your major challenge is time. Even if you're poor, make sure you have the time. You can teach the child your lesson in your house. Okay, let me give you another statistics. It has been noted that children, that their parents look at their homework, their grades go up by 60%. Even if you don't know what you're looking at, just by the fact that the parents are interested in their grades and in their homework, their grades go up because the children try to struggle more for their parents. So I'll just drop it here. That's why I talked about bonding. If you haven't bonded with a girl, you come and you want her to hug you, she's not going to hug you because she's not been hugging you for a long time. And maybe probably hasn't seen you for the past 5 or 6 months, not even a call. So what are you expecting? So by the time that girl enters university, of course, you know, as far as she's concerned, you see people that sometimes you talk with them, they're always talking about their mother, their mother, their mother. They never mention about their father because their father hasn't been there. Simple. So there's nothing to talk about their father. Okay. You also see people that each time my father used to say, my father, these are people that their father was relevant in their life. So it's very easy to discern. Okay. But let me drop it there so others can speak. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Madu.
Please,
So,
I want to make a plea. Sorry.
Sorry, who is this? Okay.
It's still Ifeanyi, yes, based on this. You said such presentation was done in a conference that happens once in a while. Sorry, I happen to work in a university. And sometimes what I see every day is not palatable at all. Is there any way? See, the program you do is for parenting. You know, you do it for parents. Can you do such for the children, for the young adults, for the growing children? I mean, okay, let us even look at the tertiary institution. Is there any way you can bring this thing you're doing into universities? I believe it's going to correct a lot of things, you know, a lot of behavioral issues. Instead of waiting for once in a while, you know, such thing will be done. How do we correct some, you know, behaviors we see today? I still believe we can still do something. So if you do such program again, if you think in that line of running similar thing for children, that would be fine and will help us, achieve a lot in this journey. Thank you.
All right, thank you. There are programs for university students anyway, so maybe later you can ask around or you can contact me. Or you can also start the program and get resource persons to come and help you out.
Okay,
no problem.
Okay, yeah, that's another idea, because at least if we have different groups inviting people like Professor Madu, and he would also have contact with other people that can help, I think that would be awesome. So that we're not just leaving it to a particular institution. If it happens, that ripple effect in other institutions will just be fantastic, which is also why we're having this. We're all here on this platform and a lot more can come out. Thank you very much. Ejiro, I think you can unmute yourself now.
Yes, because initially,
Excellent.
Thank you very much. Initially, when you called me, they said the host wouldn't allow me to unmute.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay. So I actually put my question on the chat room already, but since I've been given an opportunity to talk about it, I will just repeat. So in the course of the presentation, a very interesting presentation made by Dr. Madu. Thank you for that. He mentioned the mind your business part of it. Yeah. So for that mind your business, I'm a little bit skeptical about it, because for me, for my children, for example, I think it's a way of shunning them, and probably you might stop them from wanting to talk about certain things with you when you just go mind your business. So I think, particularly with the example he gave, that someone went to someone else's home and he noticed one or two things in that home, and then he came about talking about it, and yes, you might look at the advantage from a part to say, yes, mind your business. That is what happens. They've let you into their home. On the other hand, there are some other issues that that child would have been able to identify in other people's home as well, that the child will want to talk about. But the moment you say mind your business, the child will just lock up. And those other things, he wouldn't even want to talk about it. So for me, I think they should be encouraged, because a kind of comparison should be made as well, because it gives you an opportunity to talk about your own family values, which might be different from other people's family values. Because if they don't go to other people's homes, they would not even appreciate what is in their home. So I'm a little bit skeptical when it comes to them just cutting them off by saying, mind your business. Probably I don't really understand what doctor was talking about. I would mind it more light.
All right, Ejiro, thank you. So, Prof, do you want to respond to that, just to clarify?
Okay, well, I understand perfectly what you mean in terms of also allowing the children free speech. But we know that they are blabbermouths. And in future, you know, even in an office, nobody likes a blabbermouth. Somebody that something happens before you leave the office, the secretary already knows about it, the gateman knows about it, and nobody trusts such a person. And you have to make your child realize that, look, in future, these are things that you need to ingrow in yourself. Of course, there are things that you discuss. The children are with you all the time. So you know when a child becomes a blabbermouth, and you know people start poking their nose. Once, when I had to take my antihypertensives at night. So my daughter saw me in the kitchen taking my dog. So she came and asked me, Daddy, what's the problem? I said, I'm hypertensive. Then my little daughter that was then in primary school or GS went and told to the other siblings that Daddy had hepatitis. So my first daughter held her, said it, and gave her a hot slap, and they started fighting. So I had to come and break up the fight. So I told her, look, you don't be a blabbermouth. Daddy told you he's hypertensive, keep it to yourself. It's not something you go to school and tell people, Daddy is hypertensive. It's not like anybody is going to die, but you don't have to be a blabbermouth, you mind your business, okay? And there are other things in life. When you give people your word, when you tell people, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. Integrity. These are things that help a teacher, even in business and working with people, okay? Don't be a blabbermouth, integrity, okay? And don't lie. Don't lie. Nobody likes a liar. Okay, you can make mistakes, but don't lie.
Thank you, Prof. At least it's that clarifies things. So it's for them to teach them when to speak and when not to speak, what to say. And there are things you see, you don't have to say everything. Thank you. So Dr. Onya, please, just a minute. I've seen your hand up. I'll come to you. But I want to read from the chat. There's somebody here, Techno Mobile, that says parenting is joint venture between couple. Prof, what advice do you have when either of the couple is emotionally unavailable or toxic in worst cases? So since it's a joint task venture, but you could have one person that is emotionally unavailable, what advice do you have for this?
Well, I don't know. In summary, I can say make sure the partner attends a NAFAD course, a training, a talk like this. You see, a lot of parents have their own ideas of what parenting is all about, and they are unchanging. In short, their heart is completely stony. In running NAFAD courses, we've seen a father that said, "Look, I will not remove my plate after eating. I am an Igbo man." And in Igbo land, when we have, he said, "Look, I have children and I have a wife. Why should I remove my plate?" As the wife was seated there beside him. At some point, the man got up, got so angry, and left that meeting. I'm telling you. So there are people that are so headstrong. Okay, they must learn that children learn more by what they see, not what you say. You can say a lot of things. You can say, "Don't do this, don't do that." Of course, we keep backing down others. But my dear, they learn 60% by what they see. Less than 10% is what they hear. And let me again say that marriage is not 50-50. I tell people in my marriage course, they say, marriage, you must bring 50, it's 50-50. We must all it's a big lie. Marriage is 80-20, or in some cases, 90-10. At some point, your wife may be doing more. At some point, you may be doing more. Marriage can never be 50-50. At some point, somebody is giving more of themselves. And that is why marriage is sweet. Because at some point, you take over and you give more. At some point, your wife takes over and she gives more. So that's also another thing. So when the other is not available, you keep introducing the children to your husband. Look, he's your father. He loves you. He may not be available. By the time they are buying into that, they are also buying into you as their mother. Okay? Rather than trying to make them realize that this man is not available, blah, blah, blah. Maybe he's not even interested and things like that.
Yeah, thank you. So it's basically unity and mutual understanding. Okay. So Dr. Onya, you have the mic now. You can unmute and ask your question. Then I'll come to my device needs communication. Okay. So Dr. Onya, can you unmute yourself now? Okay, Charles, could you help? She says she can't unmute. Okay, while we're...
Okay, good evening.
Excellent.
Good evening to these organizers. Good evening, Professor Madu. It's such a pleasure this is my first time attending this, and it's such an enlightening thing. Now, Prof, what I want to talk about is close to what the last person talked about. Sometimes it's not as easy as they say it, though. It's actually a huge problem. So my question is very close to what she asked. So for example, you know that no matter what a mother does, a child needs both parents, especially the dad, especially for male children, for example. And in a situation where the father is not available, and seriously not available, not like he's going to get available tomorrow and then go off today and come back tomorrow, or he's not an example of a godly, I don't know how to put this, like not a good role model for the children, especially the boys. What would the other parents do? As in, like, any practical things to do? As in, like, what will the mother or the other parent do to balance up? Because I know that no matter what a mother does, she can never really compensate for that of a father and all that. Thank you.
Okay, let me just say something. The first basic statement is that children see everything around them. Do you realize that? Have you thought of the fact that when one of the siblings has an abnormality or is incapacitated, the children in that family become more loving, and they rally around at that their sibling. You see, you can see a child that has Down syndrome. All the other siblings understand him or her better than the rest of the world. Children adapt beautifully well. And once they observe their surroundings, you see, they try to make themselves less more of something and more of something. What do I mean? I'll give you a story. I have a relation, okay, or I know someone who, by the time the children were in primary school to secondary school, his wife had to travel overseas. And she lived overseas till the children all finished university. And they are all married with their husbands and their wives now. And none of them ever misbehaved. So I keep asking myself, this guy is not a churchy person. He goes to church on Sunday, yeah? How did he achieve this without a wife, alone? Taking teenagers, adolescents through adulthood, marriage, but none of them ever lost their way. All his children, perfectly well, gentlemen, beautiful ladies, well respected by their husbands and everybody, and they are very, very respected. I realized that this man has just been around. Nothing else. He wasn't a very rich man, but he was there all the time. He was there. Anytime you go to his house, he's in his house with his children. So just be around the children. I can tell you they will turn out well. Even when they misbehave, they know where the deficiencies are and they will make up for it. Okay? Maybe a personal story. My father had stroke when I was getting into first year in university, and he couldn't move around. So we had to bat him together with my mom, bring him out, shave him, bath him, and take him back. And he was like that till we finished the service. And it changed us a lot. Because whenever we had extra time, we had to go home. We don't taste food during holidays, we go home because I realized my mom is trying to handle this man alone. So when I come, she will rest. If I never had that experience, I'll never have, maybe that part of me would never have come out. But this is something all of us siblings, all my brothers and sisters, whenever we have spare time, we start going home. Okay? We go to help my mom, to help him, help her with everything, bring my dad out, shave him, brush his teeth, beg him to take his drugs because old people are taking drugs. And it helps to also train the children. So they know when there's a problem and they all try to gather around that event.
Yeah, so basically I think it's also the idea of not deceiving the children and pretending as if everything we're perfect. So the children know that we are also struggling. Okay, thank you very much. My device needs communication, so you can unmute and ask your question. Then Ogechi will be next after. Let's be sure that this person, Charles, could you help to be sure that he or she can unmute? Then Ogechi. Yeah, we'll correct that now. Could you try again?
Good evening, Professor Madu.
Ogechi,
Yes?
could you just hold on? Let my device speak first, then you will go second. Thank you. Okay, my device.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. We can hear you. Go ahead. You are muted again. Okay, while we're waiting to unmute, I see there's a comment here that says you could also get a trusted male, uncle, family friend to mentor the young man. Okay, though that's in cases of absent fathers. Yeah, that's a good one. That has worked for people also. Okay, my device, could you try again to see if you can unmute? Could you try again?
I think
Oh, good. Yeah, yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm so happy joining this program. My sister alerted me, and although I joined late, I've also learned beautiful things tonight that I'm going to implement. I have a challenge which I don't know how to handle as a young parent. My children, I have this issue of when they are home, they are super active, they can be outspoken, but when they go outside, they become eyes immediately. They won't have that, they won't speak out, they'll be shy, I don't know. I've spoken several times. I've maybe like implemented them coming out, maybe when we're alone. I'll ask them to say something for me to hear. But whenever we go outside, they won't be able to express themselves very well. And that's a lot. It worries me. I don't know if there is any other approach to it or trusting something I'm not doing well. Did you get that?
Yes.
Well, I think the first question is you need to tell the ages of the children so that we can have a better idea,
Oh,
and
okay. Between the age range of 3 to 7 years. The eldest 7, the lower, the younger,
Youngest.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I can say is if your parenting style is not too authoritarian, in which case you don't allow them, maybe at 3 years, well, but at 7 years, you should be able to have some discussions and things like that, okay? And also, you can also allow them to play roles in the family, maybe act a play, okay? Or do some presentations in the house where everybody, the home is always a one place where mistakes are allowed. So you can also allow them to act roles in the house, presentations, music, dance drama, dancing competition and things. And you also dance with them. And you can also try to ask questions and find out why don't you want to do the Christmas carol in your class, or why don't you want to do this? Then maybe there's an environment in the school or something that is happening, or some friends that don't just allow them to show who they are and things like that. So maybe you can find out. But all in all, I think you should give them more opportunity to also act. Not every child is built in that mood. Some people, especially boys, some boys in the midst of girls, maybe if they don't have boys that don't have sisters, many of them are quite shy outside. So, but it's not a big deal. They will overgrow it with time.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So, okay, Chuku, please unmute. Then I'll go to the chat.
Good evening, Professor Madu, for the mind-blowing lecture. I would like to say two things. One is concerning when you said minding your business, and another one is favoritism. The issue of minding your business, I know that some parents are of the, they encourage their children to gossip, or rather they gossip in front of their children. Or maybe they discuss people. This person did this, this person did this. And these children are learning. So when they go out, they go to another person's house, they are bringing gossip for you. So if the parents should know that, even when the child, okay, this person, they went to their house, they scattered their clothes and all that, you say, okay, what about you? If it's you, do you do this one? Do you this? Don't discuss them. People are different. Do you understand? So positively, we should positively advise them and not shunning them. Like the other person said, you're not supposed to shun them. If you shun them, they won't tell you more. But when you see the negative aspect of it, I believe we should, handle it very well so that these children don't go looking for gossip, coming back with gossip, and you yourself, even the parents are gossiping with people and they take it outside. Mm-hmm. They come to school, my daddy said, my mommy said, because they don't know the implication and all that. Then another thing is concerning this favoritism. I believe that if parents look at good character in their children, it will make us not to have a favorite child. You tell them, if you're behaving well, you're my favorite. If you're not behaving well, you're not my favorite. So that they know that you're looking at the good aspect of them. Bring out your best. That is what I want. And not, I don't know whether you understand what I mean. Because when we are looking at their character, the good things they do, and their, maybe school performance, the way they help in house chores and all that, it will make us not to really have a favorite child. Because whoever that is doing well is the best for the moment. For the moment, so that they know that you don't have an immunity to being the favorite.
Yes, that's a good one. That's a good one. Thank you very much, Tochukwu. Ogechukwu, thank you very much for that comment. So, Tochukwu, I see your hand up. I'll come to you. Prof, do you want to respond? Is there, you want to say something?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think I agree. But some of us have favorites by the virtue of the fact that maybe this guy or my daughter looks very much like my mother, or my son looks like my son, okay, or my father, and things like that. So those are some of the things that make us to have favorites. And being a human being, I don't think it's easy to avoid having favorites. Okay, it's not easy to avoid. The only thing I think is that make sure that you don't make it obvious, because I'm sure all of us, if they ask you which of your son or which of your daughter you love best, some of the women like their first sons best, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I'm just saying you try to keep it down. Another thing we should try to make the children realize is, you see a young man in 17, 18 years old, for some time in Nigeria, it has been hot. And so they're whining. Don't allow your children to whine. The weather is hot. Oh, mommy, the weather is so hot. Oh, mommy, the weather is so hot. Oh, mom. Yes, it's hot. Yeah, if you can't do anything about it, my brother, keep quiet. That is life. Life can be difficult. Yeah. Accept things you can't change. That is life. You also teach them. My brother, there's no money. Yes, you have to find a way to figure things out and move on. Okay? It's either you teach your children that when you see a problem, when you meet a problem or you encounter a problem, solve it. If you can't solve it, don't whine, because nobody whines like somebody that whines around them. You can imagine your husband or your wife always whining, whether it's so hot. What do you want me to do about it? Okay? And things like that. So again, I think another thing you can do is to, within your area, you can gather parents, okay, good parents, and once in a while meet to discuss how you handle problems. Because I saw somebody was asking in the chat box, that George, you wanted to know, Georgie, my friend, he wants to know, how do you handle disobedience in teenage boys? Okay, in teenagers specifically, this, of course, all of us are going to have questions and challenges and questions as parents. It is normal as a parent to have challenges with your children. So don't think you're encountering anything that is out of this world. All of us have challenges. Okay? Once in a while, you can meet with some parents, as somebody said, once there's beer and there's meat, the men will come. Okay? To discuss how do you handle pocket money for your daughters in university, handle your issue of your daughter in JS3 that is not allowing anybody to rest. How do you handle insomnia in your toddler? How do you handle you share ideas that people also learn how to do these things. But for teenagers, you just have to keep talking. Okay? Sometimes it looks as if you're pouring water on a stone, but just keep it up. Okay? Parenting is not a one-touch thing.
Yeah.
It is continuous. You must continue every day you wake up. You keep dress your bed, wash your uniform, everybody enter the car. Have you brushed your teeth? Have you packed your lunch? But it is you do that every blessed day, but it's just for some time. Okay? Because in the next 5-10 years, most of us here will have that stage by the time they are in university, and you can start resting on holiday.
Thank you, Prof. Okay, so Tochukwu, I see your hand up, but I'll come back to you. So let me go to the chat. And Nena has this. Nena says, good evening all. Thank you, sir, for this class. How can I discipline a strong-willed child without breaking his personality? He knows the rules, but prefers to push boundaries.
Okay, teenagers and adolescents will always push boundaries. They will always want to test your will. They always want to know. And if it's the boys, they always want to begin to chance their mother. You know what is chancing? Because he's taller and he feels that he's now growing some beard and his voice is turning rough. He wants to see whether he can actually. So at some point, you must put your feet down and tell them, look, this woman is here, and none of you should ever try to push her around. If you do that, you have me to deal with, and you will not like what I'm going to do. You must have that discussion at some point with your children. Make them know the boundaries, and you look into their eyes, and they see that daddy is dead serious, and there is going to be a problem if this thing happens again, and they will begin to respect themselves. Once in a while, you may need to take them out, or take them somewhere one-on-one. Sit down, a bottle of Coke, okay, and discuss what's the problem. Sometimes teenagers don't even understand themselves. I don't know. Sometimes they don't even know why they behave the way they behave. Okay, so you have to keep talking and give it time. And again, take it to your prayers.
Thank you, Prof. Okay, so Tochukwu, you can unmute your mic and ask or make your comments. You have the mic now.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Prof, for that insightful presentation. And thank you to the organizers. Yeah, I have two questions. One, I've been taking care of. I just wanted to reemphasize what Nena asked in the chat box, in case you missed it, because I was actually interested in that when you have a child that is strong-willed and always want to push you beyond boundaries. And it's even so annoying that even when you're trying to show that, you know what, I am not happy with you, I'm angry with you, and the child comes back smiling and acting like it's nothing. I mean, you're now wondering, are you meant to remain mean? Or are you meant to put that face to let her know that, you know what, I'm not going to take this next time, So, I mean, you're just caught up in that web of, are you meant to relax now, or are you meant to just carry that face and let her know that no, you can't carry on with this. Then as well, I want to actually come back to the question that was answered before this last one. When someone asked that your children, they come home, you know they are good, you know they are sound. I mean, they talk, they play, they do all that. But once they step out of the house, there's this shrink. It's like they shrink, like they're shy. I don't even know what to call it. Like, are you afraid or something? Can't you just speak up? Can't you just say this? I mean, but you know they can do it, but they're just afraid to do it. So at times I'm just like, at what point are you supposed to push these guys out of here? Because okay, let's say the other person was saying her baby, they are 7, they are 4, and we're like they are still babies. No, okay, but in my own case, when I have guys that is 14, 11, 12. So, and you know that this guy knows what he's doing. He's good, he's okay. Even the girl, they shout in the house, they bully their brothers and their sisters. But once they step out there, they're just like, and I'm wondering, I mean, at what point are you going to just, and how are you going to deal with this?
Okay, so Chuku, thank you. How do we solve this, Prof? Over to you.
Okay. Well, your first question was on the second question was so interesting. I lost track of the first question. I think you were talking about
No, I think she was just reiterating because that question has already been handled. So I think we should just concentrate on the India Wolomilio or what now.
Okay.
I like
Let
that.
me start by saying that you know, confidence in a child is most likely brought on by the parents. Do you and your husband express confidence in those children? Okay? Do you give them rules? If a 17-year-old is still shy, does he follow his father to the mechanic workshop? The children learn how to engage with the outside world from their father. Do you go with them for weddings? They see how you relate to your gate man in your office. They see how you relate to the mechanic. They see how you discuss with your friends in a party. That is when your children learn social interaction. They learn it from you, okay? So you need to expose them a bit more. And as I said, a ship is perfectly safe in the harbor, but a ship is not meant to stay in the harbor. They must move out, okay? Maybe close family friends. Yeah, some people are introverted, but you can't have 5 children and the 5 of them are introverted. Again, what is your parenting style? Is it authoritarian? Okay? Because if it's authoritarian, the child tends to be quiet when they move out. My children, well, I don't like using myself as an example. My children are said to be more talkative than every other child. You can't push them out. Even the most quiet of them, you can never push her around in any peer group. Okay? And that's because in the house, we give them all the support they need. In my house, there's free speech, no matter how old you are. You share everything equally, no matter the age difference. Even if the eldest and the youngest is in the house, we share their chores equally, we share their food equally, and they know, yes, they are not equals, they are not age mates, but they know that you can't push them around just because you're older than he or she. So I think, again, the father needs to be more involved, okay? Take them out, watch them interact. Again, you can also discuss with them. Find out why. Are you not comfortable? You don't like the person or things like that. But at 17, unless the child is introverted, yes, some people don't actually like social mixing up and things. Not all the children, okay? I think you should engage them, take them out when you're going out, okay? And allow them a free road when you go out. It's not when you go for wedding or when they go to the church, they must sit beside you. As you're 17, you can sit on another pew, okay? Give you your money for offering, give you your bulletin, you can sit on another pew. If you go for service, you can sit somewhere else. You mustn't sit with me. After all, when you're in the university, do I follow you to church?
All right, Prof. Thank you very much. So I'm looking at the time now. This is 9:30. Well, I think we're about to call it an evening, but I don't want to miss this. There's Obi says, Prof, nice to see your face again. For more than 10 years, you taught me in medical school in UNTH. So I'm a teacher also. I don't want to miss this at all. It's lovely when you have your students seeing you after many years and reconnecting with you. It says, to be honest, I joined this program late from Canada. Can I get the video? Yes, certainly you can get the video. Just go to the website and link up. There are other videos there also. I think we started Parents First sometime in August, and we've been on since then. So there are quite a number of videos that you can get from there.
The YouTube
channel. Okay, thank you. All right. So George Ugu says, how best do we handle disobedience in teenage boys, even when boundaries and timelines, when boundaries are set and timelines given? So, Prof. Madu, I'm going to time you. You are going to just answer some of these questions in seconds so that we can go.
I've already attended, but I think there are just some two last questions. The recording is available on YouTube. Somebody said, my boys are 22 and 20, but hardly go out or entertain any friends. Is it a problem? There's something you can do. If you buy a table tennis board with the balls, or build a small badminton court in your house, the boys will come. Especially when they know you have juice and you have snacks, and your wife makes snacks for the boys. They will turn your house into a senior high school. There, your boys can engage and you can observe. Your wife can observe and you can see what is going on. Okay, so when you make your house available and open your doors, but make sure either you or your wife is always around to provide guidance for the boys. And you can observe and you can see them mixing up, okay? Again, know that the boys love sports. The boys don't like dancing and singing. So they like sports a lot, things that will make them showcase their strength, okay? How can I help a child who complains a lot and have low emotional management? Don't allow tantrums at all. Don't allow your child to throw tantrums. Again, if you can't change something, teach your child. If you can't change something, live with it, okay? Don't start whining. Okay, just like the young man that entered the university and had to go out to call the mother to. If your child does that kind of thing, tell the young man or the young woman to, my friend, go and sort yourself out. After all, your mates that don't have parents, that their parents are dead. Sometimes I tell my children, don't you have classmates that their parents are dead? How do they manage? My dear, you try to solve your problem. So that is about life. Yes, the ones the parents can come in, they can come in, but many of your age mates are house helps in people's houses, and they are not all dead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear parents, thank you so much for participating in this actively. It's been awesome. It's been good. We hope to see you again next month. We do this every month, the last Saturday of the month. And then you have the YouTube channel also. You can always go there and you get more information. I think, as always, we should keep this conversation going, because as parents, we need a lot of help and we can't do it alone. Remembering what Professor told us, he said, for parenting can be overwhelming, but you are not alone. So let's link up with other parents that share our values, learn from them, and also share our own experience with them. So we know also that being parents can be tough, but just remember that in your child's eyes, nobody does it better than you. So as far as our children are concerned, we are heroes. Nobody is going to replace us. So let's do what we can, leave the rest in the hands of God, and keep supporting our children. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll call it an evening. Thank you very much. Prof, we are grateful to you. I see you have another student on the call. Kene is here. He's saying hi. So well done. All right. So good night, everyone. And do take care of yourselves. Thank you, Prof. Bye-bye.
Thank you and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay.
Sebi, you can end meeting.
Okay, this thing is, there is a lag of about 20 seconds. Okay, so that one is over now. I can stop it. How do I end it?